Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to evaluate Steve's speech on human rights. And I noticed from the very beginning of his speech right through to the end, he held everybody's attention. He had meaningful gestures, including pointing out and counting different things. And he made positive movements around the stage area, movements with purpose that actually had impact to the presentation. He had a good, clear voice, and the volume was great. I had no trouble hearing it down the back of the room. Good use of humour, and with the humour came his warm smile. That also brings the audience into his presentation. It was a very confident delivery, and the eye contact around the room was great, and people were looking back as Steve looked at the room. Human rights I've heard of in general terms, but what Stephen's presentation pointed out to me were the freedoms that we don't normally relate to human rights. The freedom from torture, the freedom to have an education, and the freedom to get married and raise a family. These are not things we normally even think of in connection with human rights. I found Stephen's speech to be both informative and persuasive. I had trouble finding points for improvement, but I kept looking. Stephen gave me one at the end when he thanked the audience. You never need to thank the audience, because when you do a presentation to an audience, it's the audience that needs to thank you. It's just very simple to hand back either to a Toastmaster or chairman, whoever introduces you for your presentation. The only other point for improvement I would recommend for Stephen would be maybe to have a little bit more vocal variety. Human rights are dying away. Put some emphasis on to certainly. Governments remove human rights. These things are happening, and we let them get away with it. In conclusion, I would say more vocal variety. Just hand back to the Toastmaster with no need to say thank you. And in fact, thank you, Steve, for your informative and persuasive presentation, Mr. Toastmaster.